Hey guys, it's a really cold day outside, and we have this beautiful fire here, and I want to take you into a little bit of a tour through our home. I took the whole gang, all, I don't know, 40, 50 people through this house the other day, and now it's your turn for those of you who couldn't come to our meet and greet. So it's not going to be quite the same, but we'll do our best. So let's take a look. Actually, now that I look at it, it's a little bit different because I had this table all set up as one of my rooms for the meet and greet. And we had 8 of us sitting on here. Alice was sitting here, and Ron and Michelle, and Elisa and Karen, my friends from New Jersey, that came up, and my mom, who was enjoying Elisa and Karen very much, and then Tom and I. And we were in this room. We had all those candles lit, and we had a tapestry or a woven tablecloth on the table, and it looked so great. I'll show you a picture right here. But now that the party's done, the fire has gone out. Right now, I just have the remnants of the party on the table. No, this isn't how it normally looks, but it's what I could do for now. What I really wanted to show you is my table. This is a gorgeous table. I had it made, custom made for me. It's 7 feet long and 45 inches wide. It's wide enough to put 2 chairs on it. And it's long enough just to fit in this room, but to fit my family, my extended family, on here for holidays. And that's what I really wanted. It's made out of old hemlock wood that he tore out of an attic of a very old house. And he dried it all in the kiln, and he put it together as a beautiful table. It's amazing because I don't know. I mean, it's just wavy like everything old. It's beautiful. He comes and he delivers them too. Look at the bottom. So you have to look at the bottom. It's got that peg construction. There's a board that runs between the 2 legs for support, and it comes in, and then a peg takes care of it. It's all old wood. So cool. I wanted something old looking in here, but it had to be big enough to fit my family. So this was the perfect thing. He actually brought me a table earlier. He did not do it the right stain. So he let me keep it for a week while he went and got my other one done and then brought the good one in, and he took the other one back. So amazing craftsman. If you guys are interested in a table like this, let me know. I can hook you up with them. Now, look at this. These chairs are actually from 2 different sellers on Facebook Marketplace at the same time. One of the sellers sold it to me for $100. The other sold it to me 5 chairs for $65. It was either 5 or 6 chairs, maybe, for $65. And they all match. And it's perfect. They look so great in here. So I'm really excited about my chairs. They're probably, they might be 75 to 100 years old, maybe. They're not that old, and they're very sturdy, and they will do well for my family. Right, let's look around elsewhere. It's kind of dark in here right now, but what I do a lot during the Halloween season, I always have cloaks up on the wall, and they're usually on the hooks. So I put these 2 cloaks on this hook, and I just threw a broom up there. The old Crow pub thing is there, and then I have this pair of Victorian shoes I picked up quite a few years ago, and they just look really great there. So it kind of gives you this little feeling of Halloween, or this little feeling of Salem, Massachusetts, without actually going there. Underneath there, I have my spinning wheel. I think another really great nod to an old colonial home. And right next to the spinning wheel is a bed warmer. and a spittoon. So everything's just looking pretty good in this room. I have these great sconces that I purchased from Jerry Lynn out on the Cape. I really like them. And this is one of my favorite guys right here. He's just a peach, and he comes out every year to celebrate the fall with us. Good old Puritan Calvinist man. All right. Over here, I do have a wreath. I picked this up a few years ago at Woodstock Country Shop, and I just think the oranges look so pretty with the browns here. And I did absolutely nothing up there that wasn't already there. I have my nice old banister back chair here. And this year I put up these curtains. These are another pair from my collection. They're the black and the gold color. And I love them. I love the way these things hang. I love the way they drape. I love the way they do some light blocking. And I really love the stencils. You could go through and stencil your walls, or you could get my wallpaper that looks like stencils, or you can get curtains with stencil prints on them. And I really love that. Here we have one more Calvinist pilgrim guy reflected in the mirror. And then, of course, my clock. Over here, I had these nails on the wall, so just decided to hang some gourds up there and some of this thistle. I think this is called hairbrush thistle, is it? I purchased this at Walker Homestead a few years ago, but this year I found some growing in my garden. So I cut it and I was all excited. And Tom says to me, "You do realize that's a weed, right?" And I said, "But it's a great weed." So anyway, I have some of that there. And then here's my pewter collection. I like my pewter collection a lot. Now, it's not an old antique pewter collection, but you got to start somewhere, or maybe you just start somewhere and stay there and don't end there, or maybe you end there. What I'm trying to say is, if you want pewter, you can get it cheap. You can get it cheap at Salvation Army. You can find it around with bargains. And I have been collecting this pewter. My mother has been purchasing me some pewter. And now I have this beautiful collection in here, which is really great because I can use it on tables if I want to get that really good colonial look. And it looks great sitting here in this cabinet. This step back cabinet is something that I purchased from Lainey quite a few years ago. She and Tim brought it over. And oh, it's just perfect in this room, perfect with the floor. I have a Judy Condon turkey up here and a firkin that actually, this is another way I save money, guys. This is a cheap firkin. It doesn't even have the bands on it. It doesn't even have a base on it. I purchased it for 10 bucks, but doesn't it look great? I mean, really. And then this, I did not purchase for 10 bucks. This is a more expensive piece. It's a very old piece, but I love it. So this is my dining room. I'm really happy with it. And also, it's freezing in here today. I just have to tell you, I'm freezing as I give you this tour. I'm going to go sit in front of that fire as soon as I'm done. Here is the bedroom off the dining room. It has the same pilgrim theme right now. And of course it does because it's fall. And I love to do this in the fall. There's something about the pilgrims, the Puritans, the crazy witch hysteria. I like to play off that history in the house. This is a mule chest that I purchased from Alice. And this is a burl bowl, beautiful burl bowl that I purchased from Nancy Byer at one of the Walker homesteads. And oh, it's so beautiful. So I've got my pilgrims, and then out here on the bed, I changed out the quilt. I used to have was red, and I wonder if I have it under this quilt actually. I might, because I figured that the person up here is going to be cold at night. So yes, I do. I had this in here. It looks great, the brown and the red, but I decided I wanted to bring some black into this room to go with the black and gold, the black cat. I did have the black and gold curtains in here, and I ended up ordering, actually, this is a little bit different, black and gold petals on here. This is a different petal and a different color that's on those curtains, but I wanted that to kind of bring the blacks in. And then for the curtain pattern in here, I went with the crows and the sunflowers. And let's take a look at that a little closer. The crows and the sunflowers. So it's another room that kind of says fall, kind of says history, kind of alludes to the whole witch hysteria early on. And of course, we know those were not actual witches. Those poor women were just women that were singled out to be really tortured and killed. And there was crazy stuff going on. Up here right now, I have a picture of Judge George Flint, and he used to live in this house. He owned this house for a long, long time. His parents owned this house, and he was a circuit judge in the area, and I do have his picture, so he is on the wall. This room is all set up for a guest who's going to come. My brother is having some guests, and they're staying here, and so this is all ready for that. It's a beautiful time to be here. I think this guest room is so pretty because you've got the beautiful views out the window. I mean, you look out the window and you see the stone walls, the gorgeous hydrangea tree, the pumpkins on the wall. It's just so pretty. And out here, I see that the sun is shining right on that red maple tree out there. Isn't that beautiful? So this is a very informal tour, guys. I'm not doing it formally at all. You can see I'm in my sweatshirt. I'm freezing. We're going to head out of this room now, back into the dining room, and we're going to head into the tavern. Now, the tavern is not done. I have a special episode for you on the tavern. Alice is going to come over, and we have some things for the tavern, and we're going to decorate it. Right now, I have my two favorite tavern tables in here. It's because I was using them as a base for a super long table of wood that we constructed for the Colonial feast. And we had room for 12 people at this table. I wanted people to be able to sit in here and enjoy the fires and the ambiance of the tavern. So anyone who was a guest here and hadn't eaten in the tavern before, I put them in this room with Lainey and Mel and wanted them to really enjoy it. I was first going to use the actual tavern tables, but if you notice, tavern tables are pretty low to the ground and they have this big apron. And a lot of times you can't get your legs under the apron. I know Cousin Mel always complains about that when she comes over. My legs don't go under it. I can't sit under it. This is because people maybe were a lot smaller and they didn't quite have, the expectations that we have for tables. So for that reason, I did build a facade of a table over top of that so that people could actually put their legs under the table and could eat without spilling all over themselves. So right now I have my little old heart banister back chair here. It's super cute. And then I've got 4 chairs left here. These are ladder back chairs that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace also. Not old at all, but huge and sturdy and wonderful. And they're going to go back to the barn where there's a whole bunch of tables there. And I'll show you guys that too. Maybe not in this video. Not sure I want to go out. But this room's going to get a nice tweaking. We're going to set this up like a real tavern. Today, Tom's going to take all this wood out of here and the chairs out of here. And it's going to be great. We also have, just to show you what we had for the meet and greet, I had this idea. So these hurricane lamps, and I didn't really know what to put in them. So I decided to put a regular candle in there. They're actually sitting on a little candlestick holder. It's black iron. And I thought, hey, I could put that black iron candlestick holder in there and put the candle in there. So they're sitting there. I don't know if they're going to stay, but they looked really cute the night of the party. And I've got some barrels down here. I'll talk more about them when we have the tavern video. But this has got to get all set up because my brother is coming soon. So Mel stood behind the bar and served the drinks the other night. We had local wine, Taylor wine, which is really, really good, and pumpkin cider, and everything was candlelight. She could hardly see. Drove her a little crazy. Okay, we're going to come into the warmer room in the house. Thank goodness. So I have turned the sofas over toward the fireplace because right now it's just cold and I want to be as close to the fire as possible. The dogs do too. Everybody does. So Tom's sitting here working, and oh, this room feels good. So in this room, one thing that you'll notice that's different is I have put up new curtains. And these are also curtains from my website. Like I said, guys, I've gone a little nuts with my website curtains, but I love them so much. Well, these match the red. I didn't really know what kind of curtains to put in here because, I didn't want your basic tan, Muslim looking or gold, or I wanted something different. And I purchased these for another room and then noticed that it was the exact right color for the burgundy walls. And so they came in here, they framed the windows in a lovely way. I now have candles in the windows for winter, and I think they look really pretty. They kind of dress up the room a little, make it look a little more colonial. Outside, you can see my patio, looking cute. And then I do have some pumpkins in here. I don't know how long they'll stay in here because they could start to rot because we're keeping this room warm now. This is a darling mug from my friend Karen. I mean, how cute is that? I love that. And then some more pumpkins. So this fall, I put my old farmer couple up. They're not actually a couple. I paired them myself, but I love them. And I just wanted that farmer look in here. I like the colors, the blacks and the browns, the taupes. I thought they complemented the gourds really, really well. And then the orange glow of the fire. It just looks so pretty with the reds and the browns. Of course, I always put a blanket over this because I protect this chair. Because Dewey likes to sleep up there. Right now he's on the floor. I think he's been too hot. Now, the problem with the way I did the room is the TV is in this cabinet. And so, if we want to watch TV, we do have to move the one couch over to its side, but it's not that big a deal. Next to the TV, I have a barrel, and the barrel has some brooms in it because, again, it's October. We live in this house, so oh, excuse me. My daughter, Cami, does a lot of crocheting. So these are her bags, and she leaves them around while she crochets. Coming into the kitchen, it's not the cleanest right now, and I've decided to take a stand for ease. So here we have our ice machine, which Tom loves to use, and Cammie. And then we have our Ninja Creamy, which Cammie and I use once in a while if we need an ice cream fix. It's a carnivore ice cream. We go right for the heavy cream and butter and eggs. And then we have our air fryer here that we make our protein meals on. Over here, this has changed a little because we did have a tavern table in the middle of here, and we'll probably put it back eventually. But because the tavern table wasn't there, I decided to throw the bench there and move the chairs around a little bit. But it's a cozy place to sit, especially if there's a fire. My crow, my proper crow, I have had her up all year now. I mean, I don't just take her out in the fall anymore. I'm just leaving her up because her colors are perfect in this room. The crow theme is perfect in this room. And there, there's a, I really like it in the fall, of course, because it really goes with the outside. But there's no reason to have to change everything around all the time if it's perfect in your room. And the colors are just perfect. The primitive theme is perfect. These candles, lights, I hung them up here because I felt that the sign that I made was just a little bit incomplete, and it needed these lanterns to flank it. Is that the word? Just to go around it. And so at night, they light up this area, which is super good because we don't have an electricity in this room right now. Finally, we're going over to this side. My ancestors are up there. Some little baby pumpkins, a little mouse. Judy Condon's pears. She was selling some of them at the barn sale the other day. Those pears are the best. And this is pretty cool. Now, I got these on Amazon, and they're like, jugs, like for the old liquor. And you can put water in them. And they look old, and they're amber, and they're beautiful, and they're clean. And I used them at the meet and greet. They were kind of perfect. It's really getting dark in here. There we go. This is how I set the table in the other rooms. Now, I've said this before, but these plates are Magnolia plates, the Joanna Gaines plates at Target. And you cannot get them in the stores anymore, but you can still get them online. They'll still send them to you. So I think those are perfect. They're black, they're irregular edges, they're heavy. I think they're perfect for a primitive look. I just love them, I mean, because you don't necessarily want to eat your meal on something old and awful. You don't want to get lead poisoning. So it's kind of good to eat on something good. And then, of course, I have a lot of redware mugs. These are actually right from Sturbridge Village, and they're lead-free. You can use them, and they make them right there on the grounds, and the money goes to Sturbridge Village. So I love that about them. And what I love about all this Magnolia black stoneware is that it goes really well with my redware pieces. So I can accent it with redware and with pewter, and it just works on a colonial looking table. Now, I did not count enough black bowls, so I ran out to Target. I could only get the white bowls, so I do have 4 white bowls, but they are from the same set. Here we go. We're going to go into the kitchen. This is kitchen number 1. That is kitchen number 2. I don't know what shape this kitchen is either right now. We're going to go in here. Things change around here. We were going to get rid of this stove, but then Julie and Joe needed an extra oven, so we actually fixed it. So I think we're not going to get rid of it for a while now because it cost a few dollars. But I have this old ladder here, and I hang the pots and pans on there, and it makes them accessible and ready and easy to access instead of having them somewhere else. I served some yummy homemade soups at the meet and greet. So crock pots are the ideal thing, and I have more people coming this week. So the crock pots are ready for the people to come. They're sitting on this old cabinet that I bought from Laney. And speaking of old cabinets, I purchased an old cabinet this year. It was just a month ago, and Michelle found it, and Ron helped Tom go and get it. And they are our neighbors now, and they are just wonderful neighbors and very helpful. And I picked this up for $100. I had another cabinet there. It was a blue one, and I let Cammie take it upstairs. She needed it to store some things in her bedroom, all her crocheting yarn. So I decided to pick this one up and put it down here. It's not really a primitive cabinet. It's not old. You can see by the latches. It's probably more of a Victorian era. But because of the wood and the way it is, I thought it would look beautiful with some redware in it. So I did put some of my redware, slipware collection in there. And again, most of this is not old. This is picked up at antique stores, Primitive Goods, Sturbridge Village. And then there's some of my pantry cakes, which have stood the test of time. Just a jar of beans just to bring some color into that, more browns. Now, I have these. These are crazy. These are the sugar, candy maple sugar. I've got a little guy and a little girl. And I have a story behind these. When I was young, I think I was about 5, and my mom and dad went to something at my grandparents' house, and they were in Vermont, and they left me with a family, a couple, who took care of me because I had to go to school. I wasn't allowed to miss kindergarten. My goodness. I mean, when you think about it now, why didn't they just let me miss a couple days of kindergarten? But they didn't. And whenever they'd go to Vermont, they'd go to Dakin's farm out there by Virgins, and they loved to go to get maple sugar stuff. So they brought me home because they were gone and I had to stay home. They brought me home a little man and a little woman. No, these are not the little man and little women 60 years later. No, I loved them. I never liked eating this stuff, but I loved the little man and the woman. They were like dolls, so I put them on my dresser and I kept them there. And one day, and this was maybe 2 years later, I looked at them and their heads were gone. And I was like, where are their heads? Well, my little sister she loved maple syrup. She had a sweet tooth. She got right into them and bit off the heads, left the bodies, and kept them in their box. So I actually purchased this just as an ode to Lori. All right, so, excuse that sun there. Whoo. I've got a couple pumpkins there and a bowl rack. We have a turkey thawing. Got to put that in the fridge, but we're going to be serving turkey this week. And then I've got that Natasha sign that I made. Natasha was the woman who owned this house many, many years ago and turned it into the Russian Bear restaurant. So the ode to Natasha is in here because she was a great baker and a great cook. And this was actually the pastry kitchen back in the day. So we were, when we moved in, this was already turned into a closet. But if you open this door, which I won't show you because it's our pantry and it's a mess, but before that, it was stairs and it led right down to a pie safe. Very cool. All right, we're going to go into a bedroom that you don't get to see very often at all. But right now, it's looking good, so I'm going to show it to you. This is the bedroom right off the kitchen, and this has been our master bedroom for a long time. It is cold in here. My brother is going to stay in here in a few days, and Julie and Joe stayed in here. Those of you who went on the home tour didn't really get to see this room because they were in it. But I want to give it to you now to show you. This mural was painted by the former owner, Linda, and this is of Sturbridge Village. So that's on that wall. When we closed, she said, I left the picture in there for you to paint all around the whole room, but I never did. These are the curtains that I had in the dining room before. And they looked great in the dining room, but I really wanted them in here because I felt like that color really went well with the pashmina, and I wanted kind of a gentle color. I have these lamps here. They're the Park Designs lamps. I got them on Amazon. And unfortunately, when I ordered them, I wasn't paying attention. I had to get the bases separate from the tops. And I meant to get all red, and I ended up with the black bottoms. So that really bothered me. I had a little hissy fit when I realized what I did. I was so upset because I didn't have time to change it. But then I thought, kind of feels like that covered bridge and the roof. So we're just going to go with it. And on this bed, I have, what are these called? Matelassé or whatever. And just a bedspread. And then I've been adding these to every single foot of every bed. These are the comforters that I make. And I designed this with the colors in mind from the curtains, but I wanted something that was a little different. And so I also played off those colors and made this stripe so that we'd have some coordinating fabric and everything would coordinate, but it would be a little bit different. I thought that if I just had the curtains in this pattern, and I also have the carpets in that pattern, those are my heavy duty rugs, and then I have these other patterns that match. They all match with the same colors. They're all coordinating. I really love this. I wish I bought more of this. Like, I actually think that if I had more guests in here, I would get a bedspread of that too and put that down first. Really liking it. Right. This goes into a bathroom. See, I also made a little striped rug right in the middle of the bathroom here. And now we're in the bathroom. I've changed this a little bit too. I have the exact same curtains in here. And what I have for the bedspread in the other room, I have for the shower curtain in here. And also, I have a round rug that matches the curtains. So, yeah, just bring in a little bit of coordination so that the bedspread and everything in there matches this, and it looks like a totally designed suite. Now these colors are lighter and work really well for spring and summer. Maybe for fall, I could have gone with something a little deeper and a little more cozy. But at the time that I was designing this room, it was summer and it was pretty hot out, and so that's what I went with. But if you wanted to just bring this into fall, like I said, just the one bedspread in that reddish color would just bring this room right into a deeper look, and I think that would look really pretty. So in here is where we have this old, it's from a laundromat. I kind of like that. And this I picked up at, I think, oh, in Michigan at one point. And this room has the stock tank tub. So we have a shower in here and also a bathtub. And it's all in the stock tank. So it's pretty crude, pretty primitive, but there's a lot of steel in here. So it's got a little bit of an industrial look, a little bit of a farmhouse look with the white walls. But it brings these two rooms together and I really like it. So I got to tell you, I mean, it's so cold today that I just want a red bedspread. Although, you know, they're kind of pricey. They're pricey to sell and they're pricey for me to buy. So I don't think I'm going to really get one, but I would really like to put one on there. It'll look really pretty. All right, coming through. This is a full look at the downstairs of my house. So if you came to the meet and greet, this is the tour you would have gotten. I put a lot more historical details in there. Oh, it feels so much better in here. But we went through this whole downstairs. In the kitchen, you would have met Julie and Joe. And now we're going to head into what we call the west wing of the house. Well, let's see what's going on in here. All right. This hallway is fun right now because this is when the witches get to come out of hiding. Now, I could not make these wonderful witches work with my decor this year. So they all ended up in the hallway, but I think they're just perfect. You walk in, they make a statement. You've got the wheat rug, stencil rug there, this here, and then this witch over here. We've got the bear for the Russian bear, and then the witch's tavern sign. And to kind of finish it off, two of the old lanterns in the window. I have not painted this room for quite a few years. I've often thought of going darker, but it still sits in the original pashmina that I painted it in years ago. But I like it in the fall and the summer. This is my office. This room, I have the sister witches there because, well, they need to be. The lighting is horrible in here right now, but this is the room where the magic happens, where I do so many of my designs and where I edit my videos and where I keep all my camera supplies. And this door just blocks it right up. We put this wall in years ago. Yes, when barn doors were really in style, but I love it. I love the wall here because it totally blocks what's going on in there. There is no room for any kind of opening door. The barn door works really well. All right, we're going into the west wing. Let's start in the bathroom. I haven't done a lot to change this room. I do have the sunflower shower curtain up. Now this is the exact same sunflower that I have outside of the she shed on the pillows. And I kind of like having a few of my designs repeating themselves throughout the property, because then you look at something and you go, oh yeah, that's a little bit familiar, but it's in a totally different place and in a totally different representation. So I like that. I've got a matching, look at that, a matching towel there. And this wreath sits up here all year long. So it's super cold in this room. I'm just going to skip right over to the bedroom next to it. These are guest rooms too, where I have people coming this week. This room is oh so cute. I mean, it's just cute. I always hang clothes and it's all done in golds. And you see, I also have that same sunflower pattern on that pillow. So it's just a little touch of it around the house. That's a painting done by my great-grandpa. I've cleared this out so that they can put clothing on the hooks. And then here's another one of my comforters. This one is kind of a black or green kind of color. And it's got a lot of the same colors that you'll find in this room. But this is actually the stencil style that's the same as in the other guest bedroom that we were in before. And finally, I have these curtains. Again, my curtains, I love these. Watch how dark it makes the room. They're total room darkening. These have this stencil pattern on them. Super cute. The gold is really good with the bed, and then you just hook it up on the hook. And it's a no hassle way to put the curtain down and put it back up in the day and let the light in. And over here, this secretary was given to me by a lovely woman named Candy, and she had it in her basement. She used to have an old house, and she wanted it to go live in an old house, and so it's come and lived with me. And I have this side decorated with old books and old family heirloom pictures, and then if you open this side, voila, some other books that I'm reading. So a big mess. And then on top is my horse, and I think he's adorable. This color too is something that was a special mix, and I painted this color right when we moved into the house. Now, the only other thing I have in this room is the rug on the floor that matches the shower curtain, that matches that pillow. So it also says to you that that bathroom belongs with this room, and I really wanted to give that impression. Now we're going to go into one more room. This room you have already seen in greater detail. If you haven't, go ahead and watch the video of how I redid this room. But this is the big guest bedroom. The floor is beautiful. I changed the prints out. Right now my sister is under the bed. And right now I have these two adorable kids over here. I did have my pumpkin wizard, but then I decided to put him out by the barn sale and put them on here. Aren't they cute? But everything in here, this is just such a nice room to hang out in, you know? I mean, this is a beautiful guest room. You can sit here and visit, and there's a married couple that's going to come and stay in here. And it's really cold, but we do have a heater in here, and I'm going to furnish every room with a little heater because it's not cold enough to put the heat on, but it's cold enough to need some heat. All right, that is the whole tour of my downstairs. Very informal, nothing special, but I thought maybe it would be fun for you to just walk through it with me and I'd tell you all about it. It's home. It's my home. I love it, and I hope you enjoyed it too.